ਬਲਿਹਾਰੀ ਗੁਰ ਆਪਣੇ ਦਿਉਹਾਰੀ ਸਦਵਾਰ ਜਿਨ ਮਾਨਸ ਤੇ ਦੇਵਤੇ ਕੀਏ ਕਰਤ ਨ ਲਾਗੀ ਵਾਰ ਗੁਰ ਬਿਨ ਘੋਰ ਅੰਧਾਰ ਗੁਰੂ ਬਿਨ ਸਮਝ ਨ ਆਵੈ ਗੁਰ ਬਿਨ ਸੁਰਤ ਨ ਸਿਧ ਗੁਰੂ ਬਿਨ ਮੁਕਤ ਨ ਪਾਵੈ ਦੰਡੌਤ ਬੰਧਨ ਅਨੇਕ ਬਾਰ ਸਰਬ ਕਲਾ ਸਮਰਥ ਦੋਗਨ ਤੇ ਰਾਖੋ ਪ੍ਰਭੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਦੇ ਕਰ ਹੱਥ। ਗੁਰੂ ਪਿਆਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਵਾਰੀ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ, with the grace of Tan Shri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, they have allowed for this youth smagam to take place, Sangat Ji. And before the aramta of this Katha, let us place our hazri in this darbar. Sabat Sangat, please join me in the blessed Fateh of Tan Shri Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj. Akho Ji, Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Sadh Sangat Ji, within the past few days of the Panth remembers the Gurgaddi of Tan Shri Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj, our third Guru. And Sangat Ji, like it has been mentioned many times before, it is impossible to talk about the entirety of the Guru's life within 30 minutes. But Sangat Ji, we will look into glimpses of their life, instances of their Jeevani today. So Sangat Ji, Tan Shri Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj, before they had met the Guru, who was Tan Shri Guru Angad Dev Ji at the time, we see Sangat Ji, before even Guru Nanak Dev Ji came upon this earth, there are many practices that were done in which the people believed would help them purify themselves. What were these type of practices? This involved things like going to Tirat. Now what is a Tirat in simple terms, Sangat Ji? It is a holy temple. People would go to these holy shrines, these pilgrimages, and they would bathe there and do Ishnan. And going to these temples and bathing there, it was seen as a pure act. It was seen as something that would purify you. Now Sangat Ji, there's also something called the Ganga. Again, the Brahmins would go to this river. It was seen as a very pure river. And they would bathe there, and it was their understanding that when they went there and bathed there, this is purifying them. It is removing their sins. So Sangat Ji, before Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj has met the Guru, they had a nature in which they had a longing for Waheguru. They engaged in these practices in attempts to purify themselves and connect to the truth. But Sangat Ji, after years of doing these things, they still didn't find complete contentment. They didn't find a complete satisfaction within themselves. So Sangat Ji, what happens one day is Shri Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj, they were resting and they come across this Brahman. And this Brahman, this individual, was quite knowledgeable in the sense that he recognized that one day Shri Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj was going to become someone of supreme status. They didn't know in which way, if Guru Amardas Ji was going to become a king, someone with a lot of money, a lot of land, or if Guru Amardas Ji was going to become a great saint, a great Bhagat, an avatar. Now Sangat Ji, a day would come where Guru Amardas Ji became both, but it was not known at that time. So Sangat Ji, after he had this understanding, he immediately started to interact with the Guru Amardas Ji. And I'm saying Guru Amardas Ji out of respect, but of course at this point in time they were not yet the Guru. And so as the interaction continues between this Brahmin and the Guru, that Brahmin ends up asking Guru Amardas ji, they say, who is your Guru? And when they ask Guru Amardas ji this question, Guru Amardas ji says, I have no Guru. Now when the Brahmin heard this, he immediately regretted his interaction. He immediately regretted even meeting Guru Amardas ji. And the reason for this is, Sangat ji, it is seen as a very terrible thing if one does not have a Guru. If someone does not have someone who guides them to the truth, who guides them to the supreme Waheguru, who is going to guide them through this life to obtain mukti, if someone does not have a Guru that does that for them, then really they're just wandering about without their true purpose in life. So if someone was Nigura, if someone did not have a Guru, that person was not seen as a great person. So when this Brahmin, he heard Guru Amardas say, I don't have a Guru, he immediately regretted it and of course moved on. He thought it was going to have a bad effect that now he interacted with someone who doesn't even have a Guru. Now Guru Amardas ji, this really hit them deep. Sometimes Sangat ji, in life, people might tell us something and it's very hard hitting. It really makes us realize something and we're left contemplating, thinking about it for days. This is the state that Guru Amardas ji had reached. After being called a Nigura, someone who doesn't have a Guru, and recognizing how frowned upon that is, Guru Amardas ji found himself in a state of restlessness. They were not at peace, Sangat ji. Now something absolutely wonderful, absolutely beautiful, Sangat ji, is Waheguru has their ways to make sanjog in life. Sanjog is connections, vidya. And Sangat ji, many times in your life, it might have happened to you, maybe you were thinking about someone. And shortly after you were thinking about that person, they end up calling you or you end up meeting them soon after. Sometimes you're thinking about a certain situation and after a short period of time, those events start folding in front of you. And we think, what a coincidence. But really it is the wondrous play of Waheguru, how all this works. Now what happens, Sangat ji, after that day, Guru Amardas ji is not at peace with themselves now. They say, I'm at this age and I'm a Nigura, because we know Guru Amardas ji was quite elderly at that time. And Sangat ji, one day they're up at Amrit Vela, and they overhear Bibi Amro. Bibi Amro was the daughter of Shri Guru Angad Dev ji. Now just a little bit of background here. Bibi Amro was married to the Patija of Guru Amardas ji. Now, Sangat ji, although especially those that are born, in these Western countries, we don't really use this type of terminology much anymore. Things like Gudam, things like Patija, we usually say cousin, uncle, or aunt. But it's still important to know these things because these are referred to in Gurbani many times. So Guru Amardas ji, in terms of family relation, they were the Gudam of Guru Angad Dev ji Maharaj, as the worldly relation. So what happens, Sangat ji? Guru Amardas ji is up at Amrit Vela, again in that state of restlessness, and they hear Bibi Amro, she's singing a Shabad of Gurbani. She's singing a Shabad of Tan Shri Guru Nanak Dev ji Maharaj. And what was that Shabad, Sangat ji? Paya Manur Kanchan Fir Huve Je Gur Mile Taneha Ek Naam Amrit Udive To Nanak Drishtis Deha. When Shri Guru Amardas ji Maharaj heard this Shabad, they felt like this Shabad was describing their exact state, Sangat ji. Now the Shabad is by Guru Nanak Dev ji in Rag Maru. It's longer Shabad, but these were the last two lines. And the Vyakya, the Artha, the Guru says, Bhaya manur kanchan fir hove. When we look at metal, it can be shiny one day, Sangat Ji, but as time goes on, it'll rust up. It'll become into something that is not worth a lot. So that rusted, you could say worthless piece of metal, Bhaya manur kanchan fir hove. Even that piece becomes like gold. It becomes absolutely shining. It becomes priceless once again. But how? How does that happen? Guru Nanak Dev Ji says in that Shabd, Je Guru Mila Daneha, if one was to meet the Guru. In the very next line, they say, Ek Naam Amrit Ohudeva. If from that Guru one receives Amrit Naam. Remember, Sangat Ji, Naam is something profound. It is such a profound gift. It is the very thing we're all looking for in this journey, Sangat Ji. Naam is not just a word, not just a few letters put together. We recite the Naam, we do Simran to receive the state of Naam that is beyond words, Sangat Ji. Ek Naam Amrit Bahudeva, to Nanak Drishta Sadeha. If one was to receive such a Naam from the Guru, then one finds complete contentment, complete satisfaction in your life. So Sangat Ji, if you were listening carefully to the events that led to this point, this Shabda did in fact describe the exact state of Guru Amardas Ji. They find themselves in a state of restlessness because they see that they're without the Guru and they're not fully satisfied. Remember we talked about them doing all these practices that were believed to purify you, but even by doing such things, they were still not completely satisfied. They were not still from within. Now this Shabda describes how to achieve both those things just in those two lines. So when Guru Amardas Ji heard this Shabda from Bibi Amaro, it was like an arrow that pierced the heart. They immediately needed to know where this was coming from. So they go to Bibi Amaro Sangat Ji and they ask her, whose words are you speaking? Whose Bani are you singing right now? And Bibi Amaro tells Guru Amardas that this is the Bani of Tantan Shri Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj. And Guru Amardas Ji says, I want to meet this Guru. And Bibi Amaro says, Guru Nanak Dev Ji does not abide in the physical body on this earth. They abide in Satchikhand, but the one that abides on their Gurgaddi, on their Asan, on their throne, at this time was their father, Tantan Shri Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj. So Sangat Ji, before we go any further into when the Guru goes and meets Guru Angad Dev Ji, there's something very important to be understood from this Sakhi. We get very comfortable to say that we are Sikhs. If I came and asked all of you today, are you a Sikh of the Guru? You would tell me yes. If I asked you who's your Guru, you would tell me Guru Granth Sahib, you would tell me Guru Nanak, Guru Gobind Singh Ji. But Sangat Ji, what does it actually mean to have a Guru? Nowadays, Sangat Ji, we like to follow our own mind. We like to hold our own opinions and like to think we are always right. But Sangat Ji, Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj, they tell us something beautiful. They say, Rehat pyari mujhko Sikh na hai. The Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj, our 10th Guru, they say, it doesn't matter to me if you're a Sikh or not. What matters to me is the discipline you have in your life, the rehat that you keep in your life. We can say I am a Sikh, but like I just described in this line, the Guru does not care if we keep the title of Sikh. Guru is saying, Rehat pyari mujhko. The discipline that you're doing, that is what I care about. So Sangat Ji, if I call myself a Sikh, but I continue to follow my own desires, if I continue to do what I think is right, moving away from the teachings of the Guru is not pleased in this way. Sangat Ji, we talked about receiving Naam. You guys have probably heard, anytime there's an Amrit Sansar happening, what does the secretary say? What do people say? They say, Guru Wale Bano. What does that mean? It means become the Gurus. Take upon a Guru, become the Gurus, Sangat Ji. In the house of Guru Nanak today, if you say I'm a Sikh of Guru Nanak Dev Ji, you're still a Sikh of Guru Gobind Singh Ji because they're the same Guru. If you say you're a Sikh of Guru Ramdas Ji, you're still a Sikh of Guru Gobind Singh Ji because they're the same Guru. So Sangat Ji, what I'm trying to get at here is the Guru has demonstrated Sikhi to us. The Guru has showed us what it means to actually live your life in accordance to the Guru. We see Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj, when they gave Amrit to the Panj Pyare, they asked them to give Amrit back. Sangat Ji, isn't that incredible? Many people today say, what's the need to be Amritari? They'll say, I'm Sajdari. That doesn't exist, Sangat Ji. That is someone who's not a Sikh yet. That's what that means. Who's not truly Sikh yet. Amritari, Sangat Ji, when we go to the Panj Pyare and we receive Amrit, what we're doing is we're giving your head to the Guru. Literally, Sangat Ji. And from that day on, we're living your life in accordance to the Upadesh of the Panj Pyare. Who are the Panj Pyare? The Panj Pyare are the form of Guru Gobind Singh Ji. And this is not something that I'm making up on the stage or anyone else. Guru Gobind Singh Ji themselves had said, 5 Amritari Tiyar Dar Tiyar Singhs are my form. Which is why whenever Amrit Sansar will happen, always in the sanctuary, in the Hazuri of Shri Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, there will be 5 Amritari Singhs. That is the form of Guru Gobind Singh Ji that time, giving us now. So Sangat Ji, those that are Amritari, Mubarak, such a beautiful gift, you are already blessed. Those of us who are not yet there, we should be making the effort, the uddam, to eventually receive that gift one day. No one's saying do it tomorrow. There are preparations, there is a discipline that will come along it. But if we are saying that Guru Granth Sahib Ji is our Guru, if Guru Gobind Singh Ji is our Guru, then we need to live up to what they have showed us, Sangat Ji. So now, Sangat Ji, let us move back to the Sakhi. Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj, when they're told that it is Tantar Shri Guru Angad Dev Ji that sits on the throne of Guru Nanak, Sangat Ji, one thing leads to another, they reach the sanctuary of Guru Angad Dev Ji. When they get there, Sangat Ji, they get in the line, just like when all of us, Sangat Ji, we come to the Gurdwara, what do? We get in the line. We wait our turn to have darshan, to have the blessed vision of the Guru. And in the same way, Guru Amardas Ji gets in the line of the Sangat. Now Guru Angad Dev Ji, when they see the Sangat Ji, they recognize that it is their Guru. There is a family relation. And so they immediately go to Guru Amardas Ji. They say, you are our family, why are you standing in the line? They said, it's okay, you could come meet me directly. Now Sangat Ji, the Guru does not do vitkara. What that means is they're not favoring anyone over anyone else. This is all the playing out. Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj says, I have not come here as family today. Sangat Ji, they have come to have darshan of the Guru. They have not come here as the Guru. They have come here as a Sikh, Sangat Ji. And they humbly fall to the feet of Tantar Shri Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj. Now Sangat Ji, Shri Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj does incredible amount of seva in their lives. We know that they would bring water, they would walk a distance, Sangat Ji, they would wake up at Amrit Vela, walk a distance to a river to bring water for Guru Angad Dev Ji so they can do Ishnan, they can bathe. But Sangat Ji, that was not the only seva they did. They did many other things for the Prabandh of the Guru Ka. Now Sangat Ji, what's incredible here is they did that for 12 years straight, without stopping. There was a Gurmukh, he put it very beautifully. He said, in 12 years, how many times must have it rained? How many times must have there been a storm? It must have been completely windy. It must have been slippery. How many times must have the way not been the optimal way, Sangat Ji? But despite all those conditions, every single day, for 12 years straight, Sangat Ji, Guru Amardas Ji completely served that seva. Now Sangat Ji, something to contemplate here. We all live in Canada, it gets pretty cold here. Look at the next day, it's minus 40. Okay, now there's summer's about to come, but the next winter when it's minus 40, when it's minus 50 outside, and see how many cars are going to be parked at the Gurdwara. There's going to be like 4 people in the Darbar. But Sangji, there are those Gurmukhs who, despite anything, will still come to have darshan of the Guru. That is that bhavna, that shraddha, that discipline we were talking about, Sangji. Are we now moving away from what we think is right? Or are we still following our own desires? That is another big factor. Receiving that gift, Sangat Ji, we now have a discipline we must live by. Before that, we can really do what we want. It doesn't really matter. No one's held accountable for anything. So Sangat Ji, they're doing this seva, immense amount of seva. But it's not just from the outer body. They're doing immense surrender from within as well. If I came to the Gurdwara, Sangat Ji, let's say I vacuumed the floor 6 hours a day, Sangat Ji. Let's say I did that. I came to the Gurdwara, I did 2 hours of Jawdasab. I did 6 hours of just vacuuming. Then I, Sangat Ji, gave Prashad and Langar. Let's say I did all of this, Sangat Ji. But as soon as I walk out of the Gurdwara, I'm still slandering people. I'm still deciding to go watch movies instead of reading Gurbani. What's happening here, Sangat Ji? We're doing the actions physically, but there is no surrender from within. And Sangat Ji, remember, for us to reach great stages on this spiritual path, surrender from within and without both must be there. Those of you that read Shri Anand Sahib every morning, in fact, which is a Bhani by Tantra Shri Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj themselves, what do they tell us every morning, Sangat Ji? They say, Tan man tan sab somp gur ko, hukum manya paiye, hukum manyo guru kera, Gavo Sati Bani, Keh Nanak Surho Santo, Kathyo Akath Kahani. Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj, they say, Tan man tan sab samp gur ko. Tan, Sangat Ji, means this body. Man, now we see what's being talked about here. Tan means this body, man means you from within. Tan meaning your wealth, your possession. Sab samp gur ko. Give all of that to the Guru. Surrender all of this to the Guru. This doesn't mean, Sangat Ji, that if you work one day, you make $600 and you just put in the golak. That's amazing, but that's not the point here. What means is you're using that in the discipline of the Guru. You're living your life in the discipline of the Guru. Hukum manya paiye. Again, Sangat Ji, look at how all this connects together, our Atiyas and our Gurbani. They're saying, listen to the Guru. Listen to what the Guru is saying. Hukum manyo Guru kira gavhu sati bani. Sing this Gurbani, contemplate this Gurbani. What happens then, Sangat Ji? When we serve and surrender this body, we serve and surrender from without and within, from all aspects. What happens? Keh Nanak Suno Santo Kathyo Akath Kahani. What is Akath Kahani? Kathana means to speak. Akath means that which is undescribable, Sangat Ji. Those beings reach states that are undescribable. And when they reach those states, Sangat Ji, the Gurmukhs are able to describe the things that are undescribable. I hope that made sense, Sangat Ji. I'll say it one more time. Waheguru, those spiritual states are undescribable, Sangat Ji, to the everyday human being. But the saints, the Gurmukhs that reach those states, become knowing of those states, and they are able to describe even the undescribable, Sangat Ji. But again, Guru Amardas in that Shabd, they say, not just this body, not just from within, not just what you earn for a living. There must be surrender in all aspects, Sangat Ji. Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj, they did immense seva from without, but they also surrendered from within. Which is why, Sangat Ji, they became the very Guru themselves. One day, Sangat Ji, we talked about 12 years of seva. When they were making their way back, they had just got in the water that Guru Angad Dev Ji would use to bathe, to do Ishnan. Sangat Ji, on their way back, it was Amrit Villa. They ended up falling. But Sangat Ji, when this happened, they, maybe from the body the Guru must have felt, but they did not let that water spill at all. They completed the seva perfectly. Now, when someone heard the noise of Guru Amardas Ji falling physically, it was Amrit Vela. There was a voice like, who must it be at this time? And then immediately there was a woman that spoke. She said, it must be the Amru Nithama. These are very harsh words, Sangat Ji. She's saying Amru Nithama. What is a Nithama? Someone who has no place. Sangat Ji, the world we live in today, people speak very harsh things. During the time of Guru Amardas Ji, because again, they were in the sanctuary of the Guru, but people saw that they were just meeting the Guru. So what people would end up doing, they're like, "Ida koi tha hi nahi hai. Ida apne Gurum de ghar hi rehta hai." Sangat Ji, people would start saying such things. First behind their back, now they're saying it to their face, Sangat Ji. They don't see what's really going on deeper. When Guru Amardas Ji heard that, must be Amru Nitham. Sangat Ji, Guru Amardas Ji had reached such a state from so much seva and surrender that they thought to themselves, maybe there was one day that they were Nithama. There might have been one day they were without a Guru, but Sangat Ji, at this point in time, they had a Tham. They had a Guru. It was Tantan Shri Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj. And what Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj does is they respond to that woman and they reference to her as Kamali. Now Sangat Ji, when Guru Amardas Ji says this bhajan, we have to understand, Sangat Ji, that the saints, the Gurmukhs, are no normal beings. If they say something, it's going to come true, without a doubt. They do a bhajan, Sangat Ji, is going to become true. This is confirmed in Gurbani as well. Now, Guru Amardas Ji was the Guru themselves. When they referred to this woman as Kamali, Sangat Ji, that woman in fact went crazy. She really did go pagal. Now what happens, obviously everybody came to know. Guru Amardas Ji makes it back to the sanctuary of Guru Angad Dev Ji. And Sangat Ji, that couple, they come forth too. They see this woman, her hair is all over the place. She's a complete mess. She's gone crazy. And Guru Angad Dev Ji is saying, what happened? And they begin to describe that she started speaking negatively to Guru Amardas Ji, and Guru Amardas Ji then did a bhajan. Now Sangat Ji, Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj, they told Guru Amardas Ji that Guru Nanak now resides on their tongue. That vessel in which Guru Nanak was going to abide next is complete, Sangat Ji. So they did the ashara, and Baba Buddha Ji gave the mark, and Tantan Shri Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj was now seated upon the throne of Guru Nanak. So Sangat Ji, there's a lot of things that we can take away from these Sakhi. It's incredibly important that we remember these things in our lives. But But Sangat Ji, the first step is what you're all doing right now, is coming here and listening. The next step is implication. Sangat Ji, we want to be pleasing to the Guru. We truly want to be their Sikhs. We don't want to be someone without a Guru. And for this, we have to walk the path they've outlined for us. So Sangat Ji, you all listen with much love, much patience. Sarvat Sangat Tanvad, Badi Ikagrata, the Prema Shravan Kitta. So please forgive all mistakes. Let us move on to the next program. Please join me in the blessed Fateh of Tan Tan Shri Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj. Akho Ji, Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.